Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Ito ay nangangailangan ng patnubay at gabay ng magulang para sa mga batang manonood.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Good morning, Philippines. Good morning, world. Welcome to the Talkshow. Today, we're going to talk about the latest update on drug addiction in our country. And for now, let us all welcome our guest, Miss Jane Shane Ivala Rosa. And then last but not the least, Miss Jeremy Campilas. Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for you both for having us your time and giving us a chance to hear your ideas about the latest update on drug addiction here in our country. Aside from we are facing a pandemic nowadays. So without further ado, let's start with the first question. For question number 1, and this is for you both. How widespread do you feel the drug problem is in the country?
So, based on drugs and crime report article that I read, most of the Filipinos has 1.1% of 10 to 69 years old that use drugs, and most of the cities and barangays are affected of illegal drugs.
Okay, so according to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, the prevalence of illegal drug use in the Philippines is lower than the global average, which means that the government's actions taken was successful.
Wow, it's great that it's somehow getting better unlike before, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So what about on your state or city? Let's say neighborhood and school. Have you observed cases of this?
So as what I've observed to our place, there was no case about illegal drugs because people who live there are not fond of illegal drugs or alcohol.
How about you?
So for me, actually, I've only seen once when our barangay have conducted the offline camp. Same as the nearby schools, where they assess the students and put them on the guidance office to ask questions and in order to address the problems.
Okay. How does today's drug use compare to that of 10 years ago or 20 years ago and etc.?
So I can say before we are not controlled in drugs or illegal drugs because there are no law in our country. But now we are okay and our place or country is peaceful because if there's a person who used illegal drugs or were put in jail.
Well, for me, I can say that it is now getting better, just what I have said earlier. It is now getting lower, the case is getting lower, and with that also, I can compare the government's action taken before from today. So, there are no, as what Shane said, there are no laws that focuses on the drug addiction before compared to now.
At least now we can see the progress that the government has done, right?
Yes.
Okay, so for the fourth question, so why do you feel that drug use is so prevalent? And what are the possible reasons why people begin using drugs?
So drugs is very prevalent in our country because many people use drugs and they abuse it and became addicted. Then the reason behind why people using drugs, it is because peer pressure and curiosity.
Okay.
Okay, this happens because, yes, as what Shane said, peer pressure is one of the most common reasons why drug is so prevalent and why someone begins to use drugs. So peer would convince their co-youth to use drugs or any alcohols, and because of curiosity, they would accept it immediately, not knowing the effects of it, and that that is the beginning of everything.
And for our last question, once someone is addicted to drug, so what controls the addiction? Is it the user or the drug itself?
So for me, it is the drug itself because if the person is already a drug addict and then he take a one pack of drugs, then he is not contented of it, then he take more drugs until he abuse it.
Okay.
Alright, so for me also, I agree to Shane's opinion. It is the drug itself is the one who controls the addiction. Why? Because once a person gets addicted to the drugs and your body is now used to the effects of the drugs, your body will now demand for more and would control your mind to take more in order to regain the pleasure that you have felt.
Alright, thank you so much, Miss Jeremy Campilan and Miss Jane Shane Ivalarosa, for spending your time with us and updating us with the latest status of our country regarding drugs. And again, this is your host, Mr. Raiban, saying bye-bye and see you with our next The Talk Show.